especially the fact that we're not in a bull market right now. We don't have the volume of newcomers and founders either migrating or building on top of that ecosystem. I think we are likely to see youths slow down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Freshly Minted. Incredibly excited to have you here. My name is Leon Aboud, and today I'm joined by two incredibly special guests. We got Samuel in the house for the first time, and we have Sharba, our frog.
The numbers follow Frank. So we have what's on Polygon right now: Reddit, avatars, Trump digital cards. Those did very well. It's a derivative. I personally don't count derivatives.
No, the Aptos project that then launched on Polygon.
Oh man, I hope no RecDog holder is watching me right now. I'm not a big fan. I mean, they've got nothing going on except for the first big project to launch. I think there was a project, Bozos, that launched fairly recently on Polygon. That's about it. I can count them with one hand, and that's worrying, especially the fact that we're not in a bull market right now. We don't have the volume of newcomers and founders either migrating or building on top of that ecosystem. I think we are likely to see youths slow down. But the good news is that Frank, I remember he mentioned one of his interests is having a launchpad on Polygon. So actually helping a lot of upcoming projects open on Polygon. So I do think he has that in mind. He's a very smart guy. So very excited to see how things develop.
Do you think that might have been part of the golden handshake? Do you think that might have been part of the agreement with Polygon? Because obviously the intention is we'll pay you X amount to come over to Polygon with the proviso that you help bring in new clients. So this launchpad strikes me as an idea that was something that they've potentially discussed as a way of effectively making good on that 3 million.
You're talking about the $3 million Polygon sponsored type of deal, yeah?
As a final thought, it does sound like a win-win situation because you don't want to migrate to a chain that's also empty. So if it is part of it, because the Polygon marketing team are very smart. A lot of the projects I'm currently, and along with Leon, working with, they've been in touch with them, with the Polygon marketing team. They're very sharp people. They know what they're doing. They've got a clear mindset, and they're recruiting right now is what they're doing. They're recruiting as many warriors to go to war, to wage war on blockchain.
Yeah, Polygon team. I've met some folks at Polygon. They're sharks. They're sharp people. Let's talk about Ticketmaster. So Ticketmaster just launched an NFT feature, and I personally find that incredibly exciting. Just 2 weeks ago, we had Shopify announce that they're going to be rolling out token-gated experiences on their shop where by owning a specific NFT, you can access backdoor products, services, offers, whatever that is. Well, it turns out Ticketmaster is doing exactly that. And the way it works is that by owning a specific NFT, you will get exclusive access. You'll be eligible to buy tickets earlier or more tickets or at a cheaper discount. And talking about Avenged Sevenfold, Kermit, one of their big experiments was with the Avenged Sevenfold NFT collection. So Avenged Sevenfold rock band, they have Death Bats. It's a 10K NFT collection launched in December 2021. And they recently had tickets for their concerts in New York City and LA go live. And holders of the Death Bats were able to get early access to the tickets before they sell out. Because I'm sure you guys know, a lot of times when it's a big concert, tickets sell out in a matter of minutes, site crashes, and then secondary goes on resale for 3-4 times the price. So NFT holders were able to get access to that. And there's two interesting things to talk about right here. So out of a 10K collection in 2 cities, so for concerts happening in New York and LA, they were able to sell 1,000 tickets. So that's about a 10% conversion rate. Now my question is, out of those 10K holders, how many of those are actually in New York and LA? I would not imagine more than 1,000. So that means that we've had a 100% conversion rate for people that are locally in that market that converted into becoming buying customers of that. Now, of course, there might be some people that bought tickets from Europe and maybe resell them in the US.
That's what I'm thinking. Isn't that the play? Just whenever there are tickets, just buy wherever it is, just buy and then flip.
I mean, it is a risky move too, because you might not have secondary price and now you're stuck with a ticket.
NFT degens are known for not really being hurt with $100 loss.
We're built different.
We're built different.
But I thought that being very interesting. And the second interesting part is someone was able to buy, if you can share your screen, Kermit, to show that one Twitter thread. So
a lot of tabs open today. There it is.
holder. I was able to get 2 tickets into the Section 1 LA Kia Forum for $250, included 25. The tickets are now close to $755, which includes $61 service fee. I can't speak for myself, but these were a win. So it shows you, man, how NFTs could potentially be used in the concert space. And what's interesting is you couldn't buy your tickets with crypto. It was all with credit card. By integrating that Wallet Connect, all of a sudden it just opened access. It's like your key, your pass to extra utility, extra exclusivity. My question, gentlemen, are we about to see more Web2 initiatives like this one, event tickets, especially this summer moving into festival season? Are we about to see more activity when it comes to Web2 experiences backed by Web3 products?
So I think my view is that we actually see a lot more Web 2.5 stuff than Web 3. These are real use cases. So whether it's ticketing, whether it's loyalty reward programs, whether it's ways of actually using the underlying tech to solve real world problems, I think that's the direction that we're probably going to go. We've had that blow off top back in 2021 with all the PFP collections and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, all that is just swapping your profile for an animal JPEG. There's not too much outside of token gating and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, ticketing is huge. Like if you can get access, early access, people will pay a premium for that. They see that as a benefit. So I think it's just coming down to what the basics are and what an NFT can actually do for people. So I think we're going to see an explosion of people, institutions adopting like wallet as a service and ERC 4337, which I think you guys might have touched on last week, and actually using that to drive real change and solve problems. So yeah.
You know what I'm actually surprised by is there aren't more people currently using this technology. I remember during Expo 2020, it was the biggest shock that they were not using NFTs whatsoever, right? Remember that discussion? Because with NFTs, you can do so many things that add to the user experience. You don't need it to feel like an NFT, right? Which is the best part, is as soon as you make the experience seamless. So yeah, personally, I'm just surprised not more people, not more companies are using that technology. But we are seeing, who was it last week? I think we covered like 10 different companies, 10 different Web2 giants, either filing patents or hiring. There's Sony, there's
Pokemon was hiring.
Pokemon. There was a bunch. There was a list of
My
10.
question, and this is interesting, Kermit, because this is something we were speaking about yesterday, is the buyer journey of someone that goes into Web3. So, Web2 normie receives a ticket for a concert. That ticket happens to be an NFT. Is that person onboarded into Web3 now?
Right. I love that question. So to give you a bit of context, Sami, and because I don't think the last episode is out yet, closing thoughts for the last episode was we were talking about Reddit NFTs, and a big conversation around it was, but are these people actually onboarded onto Web3? What constitutes as someone having onboarded Web3? My thought, or the question I asked, was, instead of asking this question, I'm going to ask, who gets to decide what Web3 is? Is it the 8 million people who are on Reddit and who use NFT under the umbrella of a digital avatar? Or is it the 2 million people who are using OpenSea and who use the definition of a PFP, art, gaming, etc., etc., etc.? So that was the...
So onboarding to Web3, I think that's pure decentralization, self-custody of assets. Reddit wasn't necessarily Web3, it was Web 2.5. You've got sort of custodial wallets that you could extract the avatars and take them out into your own custody. Now, I think that's probably a mass onboarding to Web 2.5, but realistically, I think that's probably the best place we'll get to. You'll have, most companies are going to have the same interfaces that we see from Web 2, but you've got the underlying tech underneath. So that to me is kind of where we'll eventually get to. But then I don't think you're going to have the purest view of Web 3 for a long time, but it's not a bad thing.
What was your personal experience of onboarding the Web3
Brutal.
space?
It was like so concerned. I mean, I traded on centralized exchanges for a while, so like Coinbase, Binance. It wasn't until probably.
But how even going a step before that, how did you even get into cryptocurrency?
So I left EY the first time, joined a startup, so a fintech. I was only there for about a year before I moved to Australia. But during that time, everyone was very into like new tech, what was going on. People were talking about crypto. So this would have been 2017. So I downloaded the app, bought some Bitcoin, but then like my life took hold. I moved to the other side of the world, so that took priority and I just kind of forgot about it. And then it wasn't until probably like the pandemic. So in Australia and Melbourne, we were very much like, we were we were kept indoors because of restrictions and stuff. So we had an hour of exercise a day. We had a curfew from like 8 p.m. till 5 a.m. So we couldn't leave the house. So I was like, well, what do I do with my time? So I was working long hours, but then in the evening I just do crypto research, went down a rabbit hole. And I think the NFT point was probably, so Damien Hirst did the currency, and that caught my attention. I was like, you've got this mainstream artist, British artist, getting into the space, doing quite an interesting dilemma where you either choose the physical or the digital. And I was like, well, this is something new. So in a year's time, people will burn and make that decision whether they keep the NFT or burn it for the actual physical. I thought this is like a proper use case that I could actually see it taking off. And then I was like, well, if you could have the digital to verify the physical, then that's an actual real use case, because like fake and fraudulent art is quite a big problem. So that was kind of like my journey. I can't remember what was the original question.
So how did you onboard the Web3 space? So what you're saying, if I understood correctly, is it was out of, well, you work in a tech space, in a tech environment prior to onboarding Web3, and it was sort of what people were talking about, right? It was, this is very cool, this is very nice, let me check it out. Let me see what all the fuss is about,
yeah.
Right? And then as you discovered it, the pandemic happened, then you had a lot of free time, you dived into it, and then you found out about NFTs. So crypto onboarded the first 1 million into NFTs. Are NFTs about to onboard the first 1 billion into crypto?
Gentlemen, this was an incredible conversation. And if you are a builder or an entrepreneur in the Web3 space, staying up to date with the latest movements of those plates is crucial.
Awesome.